brother and sister, the whole church celebrates today World Mission Sunday. Mission Sunday is an opportunity for us to reflect on the missionary role of the church. The church has been involved in missionary work right from the very beginning. It is clear from today's gospel, where we see Jesus summoned his disciples to go out to the whole world and to proclaim the good news to all creation. So, as member of the church today, we are all invited by the Lord to be evangelizer, and our primary duty is to spread the good news to the whole world through the witness of our life. This is this witnessing of life that is stressed in the first reading, since we have read that many people and inhabitants of many cities will say, "Let us come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem and to implore the favor of the Lord. Let us go with you, for we have heard that God is with you." The prophet Zechariah foretells here that many people and nations will be attracted by what they saw in Jerusalem and by what they heard about it. We are now the new people of Jerusalem. Do we have, as a Christian community, this attractive strength, bringing the whole world to seek the Lord? The theme of the Mission Sunday celebrations in the Diocese of Hong Kong this year is Emmanuel, God is with us. So, our responsibility as a believer is to share the message of God's presence among His people, even in this time of pandemic restriction, then in spite of the social political situation imposed on us in the few last years. The Mission Sunday celebration of today focuses on the role of the faithful in implementing the mission of the Church. We cannot but speak about what we have seen and heard was, at the time of the early Church, the response of Peter and Paul to the member of the Jewish Council in Jerusalem. We cannot but speak about what we have seen and heard. It should not be different for us today. In fact, these bold words of Peter and John in Acts chapter 4, verse 20, are the theme Pope Francis has chosen for this year, World Mission Sunday. Our experience of Christ and of His love and mercy fail to have any meaning until we choose to share it with others. In the Gospel of today, Jesus talked about the signs that will accompany those who believe. They will cast out devils. They will have the gift of tongues. They will pick up serpents in their hands. They will be unharmed should they drink deadly poison. They will lay their hands on the sick, who will recover. The purpose of these signs and wonders is to confirm the message of the good news. But what is the meaning for us today of these signs and wondrous acts? Maybe what Jesus said cannot now be taken literally. But nevertheless, in Mark's Gospel, the emphasis is on the sign that will be associated with believers. So, if we are wondering where are these signs and wonders today, maybe it is the occasion to ask ourselves if we are proclaiming the good news actively and courageously through the witnessing of our daily life. Because our own person, the way that we are and what we do are the most profound sign of the good news. The purpose of Mission Sunday is to awaken us to our mission to be good news in the middle of so many confrontation and division that affected us badly in the last few years, and even in face of indifference, distress, or opposition. As Jesus called his disciples to go forth and preach the gospel, he also called us today to be teacher and healer. Maybe we are not able to work miracle. However, we are capable of consoling the sorrowful, of healing another with our love, care, and concern, and perhaps even of bringing someone back to life with our love and our healing presence. Obviously, Jesus continued to work in and through us. But, brother and sister, let us conclude our reflection by listening to this inspiring story about two brothers who one day fell into conflict. These two brothers were living on adjoining farms. And what happened one day was the first serious rift and conflict in 40 years of farming side by side, sharing machinery, trading labor and goods as needed without any problem. Then the long collaboration fell apart. It began with a small misunderstanding, and it grew into a major difference. And finally, it exploded into an exchange of bitter words, followed by weeks of silence. One morning, there was a knock at one of the brother's doors. He opened the door, and he found a man with a carpenter's toolbox on his shoulder. "I am looking for a few days of work," said the man. "Perhaps you would have a few small jobs here and there. Could I help you?" "Yes," said the older brother. "I do have a job for you." look across the creek at that farm. This is my neighbor. In fact, he is my younger brother. Last week, there was a nice meadow between us, but he took his bulldozer and moved the soil to consolidate the river embankment. And now we have this creek, this awful inset of water between us. Well, he may have done this to cause me pain and damage, but I will do him one better. You see that pile of lumber near the barn? I want you to build me a fence, an 8-foot fence high, so I will not need to see his place anymore. The carpenter said, I think I understand the situation. Show me the nails and the post hole digger, and I will be able to do a job that will please you. Then the elder brother had to go to the town for some businesses. So he get all the material ready for the carpenter, and he was off for the whole day. The carpenter worked hard the whole day, measuring, cutting lumber, and nailing. About sunset, when the farmer returned home, the carpenter has just finished his job. The farmer's eyes opened wide, and his face dropped. There was no fence there at all. It was a bridge stretching from one side of the creek to the other. And the older brother saw his neighbor, his younger brother, coming across, his hand outstretched. And he said to his older brother, "You are quite a nice fellow to build this bridge after all that I have said and done to you." So the two brothers stood at each end of the bridge, and they met in the middle, taking each other's hands. Then they turned to see the carpenter ready to leave with his toolbox on his shoulder. "No, wait. Stay a few more days. I still have a lot of other projects for you," said the elder brother. "I would love to stay on," the carpenter said, "but God, my boss and master, said that I still have many more bridges to build in other places." Brother and sister, the conclusion of this story is crystal clear. Mission Sunday is inviting us to build bridges where there is conflict and division. Every day we have the choice of building fences or bridges. We know that one leads to isolation and the other to openness. Building bridges should be today one of the most obvious and profound signs that is associated with believer. So, brother and sister, as God's collaborator, let us be bridge builders. Amen.